Aston Villa 3, Freiburg nil. And I mean, Villa fans, how are we feeling? You know, you man are Europa League champions. This is, I want to say, the first one ever in your history. And I mean, we got to start talking about Unai Emery, yeah? Especially, you know, like, I don't want to make shit about Arsenal because, I mean, shout out to Villa, had a great game. But Arsenal fans, this man only lost the Europa League final when he was on our team. Yeah, this guy, his juju was not working with our team. But regardless, Unai Emery, man, I think he probably is gonna go down in Villa folklore for this, right? This is a manager where you look at what they were doing before. I think who was their last manager? Was it Steve something? Right, Steve something. They had Jarrod. Yes, it was Gerrard before. Absolute fraud. Emery comes into the club, and I mean, since then they've just looked completely on the right path. And you can arguably very much make a case for them being in the big six now, other than Tottenham, right? Because I mean, consistent Champions League placings. I mean, obviously you're in the Europa League this year, but we can very much argue that you should not have been in the Europa League considering all of the shenanigans that happened on the last day with United, right? So consistent Champions League positionings, and the one time you're in the Europa League, I think a good tell of whether you're a Champions League caliber team or not is if you just go out there, you steamroll, and you win the Europa League, right? Villa have gone and done that. They made Freiburg look very clearly like a tier, arguably two tiers below them in this game tonight, right? I think after the first 20 minutes when Villa came out and they dominated extremely foot to the neck of Freiburg, really showing that, hey, we're an Unai Emery team. The intention is to go out here and just dominate and dominate and dominate. I thought Freiburg did very well to work themselves back into the game, but it almost looked a lot like the Chelsea against Man City on the FA Cup, right? Like 2 weeks ago. Like, I don't want to say Chelsea in the sense of, because I thought Chelsea played better. You know, I've Chelsea definitely played better, but the same issues were there's no potent threat up front. So I thought Villa, obviously, the defense had a great game, but still, defending wise, I thought Villa as a whole were a great unit. You know, came into the 4-4-2 mid block and just looked so secure. I mean, Freiburg didn't really sniff anything. Obviously, I stopped watching in like minute 70, so I can't attest to if they got any late chances. I know they didn't score anymore, but I mean, late chances, you never know when you're 3-0 up in the 83rd minute. Obviously, you're still playing hard, but as a player, you sort of in that mindset of, come on, bro, like we're 3-0 up, let's just not take the piss and we're gonna get the result. But regardless, shout out to Freiburg, number 44. I think that's a player that definitely I can imagine playing for a better club next season. I think he was arguably Freiburg's best player on the pitch today, and I don't know why they weren't playing for him more often. I can only attest to whatever the manager's game plan was. But yeah, shout out to him. I'll probably think about his name, maybe put it in the comments later on. But he had a great game, and not a great game. He had an okay game, and yeah, dangerous man coming into the final. This was Villa's guy to really lock him down, stop him. And I mean, I don't really think they even stopped him that much. I think Freiburg just as a whole were comparatively a lot weaker than Villa. So, yeah. But, I mean, getting into Villa as a whole, I thought Emi Buendia, man of the match performance, I thought this guy had a great game, right? You think of the assist to Morgan Rogers, his own goal. This guy just, whenever he was on the ball, shit was happening. Shit was popping up, right? Mind my language, but he was coming around here and he was doing stuff. He was almost pushing the pace forward for Villa, especially on the attacking ends. And then you think about him defensively. I know I look at Buendia when he played against Arsenal sometimes. This guy is he's Argentinian. He's Argentinian, right? So the aggressiveness, sometimes these guys need to calm it. They need to calm down, but he's being aggressive, he's pressing, he's doing all of this stuff that you love to see from a player, especially on your team in a final. And for me personally, I'm not going to say he was the difference, but he definitely made that final a lot better for Villa fans. Yuri Tillemans, I thought calm, controlled. I thought his goal, beautiful goal. I don't know where it would rank in all-time final goals in the Europa League, but it's definitely up there. Because, I mean, first off, the intricacy of the goal, like Arsenal, I know that Nicolas Jova right now is ringing up the Villa set piece coach because he is ripping that right out for Leandro Trossard or an Eberici Eze to commentate that because they're excellent ball strikers. But Yuri Tellemans, man, just puts the laces for the ball tracks it perfectly, and it goes right where you want it to. And once that happened, it just all turned into Villa's favour. It wasn't really a case of, oh, what is Freiburg going to do now? Like, I think if Freiburg ever wanted a chance, you were going to have to score first. Did not happen. Villa scored first. So, yeah, I mean, second half, we saw what happened. You 2-0 down. As a manager, really all you can do is maybe chuck on more attacking options. Freiburg didn't really do that. I don't even know if they made any changes apart from one very early on. But even so, Villa just was so clearly above them that, I mean, I'm imagining what Birmingham right now, because I live in Birmingham. I live in the West Midlands, if you cannot tell. So I can imagine how Aston and Birmingham is right now. It's probably like a little bit like how us Arsenal fans were last night in London. So, I mean, the future really for Villa is bright, well and truly, because, I mean, Villa's not a broke club. They're not a broke club. And again, we talk about football clubs and them wanting to spend money and FFP and these new rules that are coming in. But Villa have never been a broke club. I think the owner's one of the richest in the Premier League. This guy just is not able to pump the money in, almost like a Newcastle where you're not making enough commercial revenue as a club. So you can't pump in the money to sign better players. But Villa have done a great job, and Unai Emery's done a great job of bringing in players on cheaper contracts. The Rashfords, the Sanchos, the Abrahams. Maybe not Tammy Abraham in the second stint, but the first stint definitely, bringing in these guys and just allowing for them to come and play above what you would expect them to do when you've seen them play ass shit the year before. So shout out to Unai Emery, man. Great manager for Villa. Like I said before, it's going to go down in folklore. And this money of them being in the Champions League, I look at when Newcastle got the new owners. And the big thing for Newcastle was, can you get in the Champions League and can you stay there consistently? Because every year you're in the Champions League, that's essentially 100 million added to the revenue. So the more and more you do that, the more and more you're able to go out there and sign bigger and better players. It's not going to initially happen right at the start because, again, it's hard to get players to come to the project unless you're a big club and you're just, getting back into the rebuilding phase. But for a club like Villa, they've done everything Newcastle really want to do. They've won trophies. They're consistently in Champions League. And I understand Villa are sort of in a sell-to-buy situation right now because their books are really, really thin. But if you do this over and over time, eventually you're going to get to a point where the commercial revenue and the success of Villa allows for them to now start competing with the big boys. Because I could see in 5 years' time, we talk about Villa as a top 6 club, right? Been off Spurs, right? I don't know about them joke, man. They're going to stay because they have the big stadium for Lincoln away. But if Spurs were to go down, I think almost immediately Villa become the new top 6 club. And we could be talking about a top 7 very soon if this continues to go on for the next 3-4 years. But, I mean, I thought this was it was a good final. It was a good showing. Not your elite final ever, mainly because you sort of knew what the game was going to be coming in. Obviously, I can attest as an Arsenal fan, when you don't win a trophy for quite a bit of time, you still are nervous, even though it's very clear you're the better team. So I can only imagine how Villa fans were feeling before the game and how they're feeling now. But, yeah. Villa fans, I think, great fame. Sorry. Great final. Great final. Yeah. Things are looking up and you just made 100 million. Right, so I have a lot of Villa fans that were kind of upset, or Villa friends, should I say, a lot of Villa friends that were upset because it's like very much sell-to-buy territory right now. You're going to have to maybe sell them Morgan Rodgers, sell these players that you've worked so hard to bring up into the team and develop. But, I mean, hey, you never know. So, with that, appreciate you, man. This is the game, by the way. Make sure you subscribe. You like, you comment. I am honestly so rusty at YouTube right now and so bad that please just excuse everything that I'm doing. But yeah, so excited to see you, man. Pre-tap into the vid. And I mean, Villa fans, how happy are we?